Hello, everyone, and thank you for joining us today for our webinar on automating your order entry. Now, before we get into the presentation, it being April 1st, we do have a quick April Fool's Day poll question for our audience. Let me just get that up here. What is the best April Fool's prank that you've ever done? Did you maybe scare someone with a fake spider? Maybe you freaked out your mom getting a fake tattoo? Did you slip a whoopee cushion under a colleague's chair? Or maybe you did something that you really can't mention in this kind of business setting. Or maybe you're just, super straight-laced and never ever pranked anyone. It's below you. Let's give people a couple more seconds there. Oh, looks like the fake bug spider is a pretty popular one. All right, we'll give people a countdown. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and we'll close the poll and share the results there. So yeah, looks like the fake bug or spider, no tattoos or whoopee cushions, strangely enough, but there are quite a few something else. So there's a bunch of you out there that are pranksters, which is good to see, and a bunch that haven't, but that's okay too. All right, now that out of the way, just let you know, my name is Brad Zaitsoff. I'm the Senior Director of Marketing at Envase Technologies, and today I'll be joined by Tom Burke, Envase's Chief Innovation Officer, and Heather Maynard, our Director of Customer Service and Onboarding. To start off, we'll just do a little bit of housekeeping. The webinar is being recorded and will be sent out to all registrants within the next week. For the duration of the webinar, all attendees will be muted, but if you have questions, please don't hesitate to send a message in the chat or question box, and we'll review these in the Q&A portion at the end of the webinar. Now, for those new to Envase Technologies, Envase empowers you with the visibility to see the entire intermodal life cycle clearly and confidently. Envase software merges all aspects of your business into a coordinated, streamlined system, including order entry, dispatch optimization, artificial intelligence, electronic data interchange, API connectivity, and more. We help you maximize your output by getting all aspects of your business to work together. Our goal is to provide you with one platform to take your business to the next level. Now, before I turn things over to Tom, I do have one more poll question that should help steer our conversation today. That is, what are you most interested in learning about? Is it streamlining your intake of work orders, reducing errors from all that manual data entry? Maybe you're most interested in getting your staff focused on higher level tasks, or maybe it's replacing just all that boring busy work, or maybe it's all of the above. People are very busy participating in this one, so that's great to see. Okay, we'll give people a couple more seconds. We have most people have voted now. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. We'll close the poll and share the results here for our presenters. So looks like most are interested in all of those points there, with the majority, I guess, really focused on that monotonous order entry. So Tom, this gives us a lot to work with.
It does.
All right, I'll hide the results there and go back to sharing my screen, and there's Tom. And there's our slide. Tom,
all
take
right.
it away.
Yeah, thanks, Brad, for that kind introduction. I just want to first say that the entire team at Draymaster, Dray 360, and Photector are excited to have joined the Envase Technologies group of companies back in February of this year. And we're bringing some pretty cool stuff that we've developed and introducing it here today. So as the slide says, imagine a world where we go from paper to rubber in one simple step, and that means that there's very little human intervention. We've developed a two-step process that gets us there. In the first step of processing, we are utilizing OCR technology to extract data from every work order that is passed into the portal. And then immediately after the data is extracted, the data passes through our rules engine that further extracts the important data elements into the specific fields for the TMS that we're delivering the information into. And then we go to a second step. And during the second step, in the background, we are monitoring and learning from any of the changes that you're making to the work order prior to it being released to the TMS. So this includes information like bill to parties, legs or shipment events, divisions, template names, or anything and any other data element that you're changing. So once we detect a pattern, we build those changes into the shipment the next time you see it. And through this process, we can learn and remember all the way down to the specific freight buyer by the origin and by the destination that the work order is instructing you to make the delivery to. So with this, I'd like to have Brad show you a short video, and then I'm going to turn it over to Heather Maynard so that she can show you what Envase Order AI looks like at direct.
Meet Donna. Donna comes to work every day and is expected to enter work orders into the transportation management system. While doing this, she must answer phones, reply to emails, and perform other important tasks. It's monotonous, and sometimes mistakes are made. When Donna is out sick or on vacation, the place tends to fall apart. Donna dreams of an automated order entry system that zaps work orders into the TMS in a ready-to-dispatch state.
Your wish is my command. Simply forward the work orders into the Dray 360 gateway, and I'll handle the rest, auto-magically. What do you think?
Absolutely amazing.
With Dray 360, Donna has more time to build customer relationships and help her boss stay ahead of the game.
Would it be too much to ask for 3 more wishes?
Sure, let's make it quick. I have orders to process.
Dray 360. Make your work orders less work. Learn more at dray360.com.
Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for joining. Tom, Brad, thank you for the introduction. I am going now to show you Envase Order AI. So Brad, if you can make it so I can share my screen.
Yeah, I'm just changing the presentership over to you. Sorry about that.
Perfect. No worries.
All right, should be getting it now.
All right, and we should be seeing my screen. And what you're seeing right now is the Envase Order AI inbox. So all the work orders, once they're forwarded in, will automatically show in the inbox. To get the order in, you simply send an email to the provided email address. We've uploaded 2 already for the purpose of the demo. However, we're going to send this one in so you can see it in live time. Once the order is processed, it automatically comes into your inbox, and you'll be able to click on Details. On the left-hand side of the screen, this is everything that Order AI has brought in, and then on the right-hand side is everything that's on the work order. So you will notice that we do have our division, the shipment type or direction, import. If it was expedited or hazardous, we could indicate so. We do have the steamship line. The steamship line is gathered from the Profit Tools equipment lease types. So if it wasn't that specific one, you do have the option to choose. Container number and chassis, or excuse me, seal number. One of the things that you may notice is if I hover over a number, it's automatically on the right-hand side, highlighting in blue where that information is coming from. So you're always able to see where that data is being placed. So we did gather a reference number, customer number, as well as a purchase order number. If there were additional fields that we needed that didn't get picked up, you do have that option to just click on the box and it will open up the field so you're able to enter that in. As you're entering that in, the system is learning what you're entering so that it will continue to capture next time. As we go down, you'll notice that we do have the bill to, as well as the itinerary events. The bill to party is being captured from the Profit Tools database. So right there, that is inside of Profit Tools. This is what we found on the work order, and this is what we matched it with. If it wasn't that company, you do have the ability to select different, and it'll allow you to look by location name, address, city, state, or zip. Inside of the itinerary, we do have this set as a hook, drop, and you'll notice that that drop is blank. Maybe we don't know the location at this time that it's going back to. However, if you do have a TBD or a TBA, we could automatically put that in there for you as well. You'll also notice right here on this hook, it says verify closest match or select different. So the system is still learning this work order. And by saying verify closest match, we're teaching it that this is the closest match to that company found. We're also able to capture ship notes, the contents or the description, quantity, and weight. Once everything inside of the work order looks good, we can automatically send it to TMS. So this is automatically going to send the work order and the documentation over to Profit Tools. So you'll notice that the status went from process to sending to TMS, and I'll just hit my little refresh. And now it gives us a TMS ID or the TMP number. Right here on the clipboard, we can copy the TMP number, which then allows us to go directly into Profit Tools and shipment, and then paste it in. So right there, you'll see that it did capture the container number, size, the line type, and created an unknown chassis. So we have our container pickup, our bill to. Under the billing info, gave us our container number, reference number, master bill, house bill, and seal. And then under extended info, it brought in the line. If there was a vessel in voyage, we'd bring that in as well. The events, hook drop with our last drop being blank. And then just so everyone knows I didn't do anything funny, we're just going to right click on the TMP number and say mod log. And you'll notice that it's created by scheduled task, modified by the scheduled task. And last but not least, inside the order, right here under imaging, it automatically brought a copy of that image over. So we convert the PDF to TIFF and place it in the order for you. For anyone that is utilizing templates, you do have that ability inside of Order AI. We'll just come to details. And right here under TMS templates, we'll just drop that down. And let's say instead of a hook drop, we want it to be a live unload. So we'll choose the template, import live unload. And now you'll notice that the division is managed by the template. The shipment type is still import. If we wanted to select the steamship line, we could. But then the bill to and itinerary and then items are also handled by the template itself. So if we say send to TMS, it's automatically going to send that up into Profit Tools. And then it gives us a TMP number. So I'm just going to copy that TMP number. And it copied from the wrong template. I apologize. So I will show you on the next one. I apologize for that. So right there is the order that we just brought in. So I'm going to go ahead and grab the correct template so we can see that as a better example. So again, we have our managed by template, the shipment type. Now I do have container validation turned on, which means that I do need a check digit. So I'm just going to apply that check digit so that it brings the container number into Profit Tools. And now we'll go ahead and say send to TMS. So I've copied our TMP number. And there we go. So now you're seeing the container number. I didn't select a line type, which is why one is not selected or unknown. Chassis, it also brought in the freight charges, the fuel surcharge, and the events from the template, as opposed to a hook drop. And that is what Order AI does.
Thank you very much.
Heather, before you jump off there, could you just explain how the inbox works, please?
Absolutely. So the inbox, the way we do this is once we're finished processing and sending to the shipment or to the TMS provider, we're going to click on these three little dots and we're going to say mark as complete. What that does is it automatically drops it off of your request inbox so that you know that that request has been completed. Once we do that, we have a clean inbox. And if we ever need to, we could go into search and search for any other or older orders that went through.
Perfect, thank you.
So I'm noticing, Brad, we do have quite a bit of questions.
Yeah, we do. So I'm just going to put this back to my screen here. And I know some of the questions have been related to pricing. So Tom, do you want to chat a little bit about the pricing screen? Oh, I think you're muted, Tom.
I'll unmute there.
There
So on our pricing, we have different types of data that we're able to ingest into the platform, and the first being PDF orders. And for the first delivery order coming through and shipment created, it's 80 cents. For every additional shipment that is on the order, there can be up to 500 of them. It's an additional 40 cents for every order that's created. We also have tabular data that can come into the system where we're learning and taking a CSV or an Excel spreadsheet that you're getting from a distribution center or a customer that is notifying you of the status changes on all of your orders that are coming through. And we've got a great platform to be able to take those in, understand what is new, what's different, what's changed, and create all the work orders that are necessary off of that information. We do have EDI in an almost complete state. We'll be able to also offer the ability to apply the rules engines and the machine learning that we've created for the PDFs and the CSV tabular data to EDI data, so that it's not specific into specific fields.
All right, as I mentioned, we do have quite a few questions here, but before we got into those, I just wanted to ask one final poll question for our audience. And that is, now that you've learned about Envase Order AI, how do you want to be moving forward? Would you like to get onto the waiting list for onboarding? Right now, this is exclusively offered for Profit Tools customers, but it does open up at the end of April to others. So right now, it is a good time to be getting in. Maybe you'd like to be speaking to Heather about your specific business requirements, or maybe you just love the struggle of entering orders manually, so want to stick with that. So give people a few seconds here to get those votes in. And don't worry, we won't be sharing this information outside of outside of the internal kind of organization, so we won't be posting the results for this one up. All right, give people a few more seconds here. Now it looks like you're going to be busy with quite a few one-on-ones after this. All right, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. All right, I'll close that poll there, and we'll move into the specific questions that people have been bringing up here. So to start off, we have Albert asking, when you send it to the TMS, is it dependent on the Profit Tools scheduler?
So it is dependent on the Profit Tools scheduler. It's not a task, it's a behind the scenes task because it is using APIs and macros. However, you do need the scheduler running.
And Drew's asking, so the shipments always default to drop and hook? If so, how can we change it to live unload if we don't use templates?
So we are able to edit the events that are inside of inside of Order AI. We're able to edit those events, and what we do is we take your documents and we learn from them, and we learn the events that you're doing. So if you're doing hook, mount, deliver, dismount, drop, we can set up Order AI to do that as well.
Or if you have a customer that you're always doing a yard pull on, or another specific event, that will also be learned during the process.
All right, somebody's asking, how long does it take to get set up and running live?
Approximately 2 weeks. So the very first thing that we do is we perform the setup. We create what's called a solution document, which outlines each step that we're going to do. We'll ask that you forward your documents to us so that we can start learning from those. And then we do a connection test to make sure everything's coming through. And then at that point, we will send you live and work with you as we work through any issues like changing of the events.
Yeah, they keep coming in, the questions here. So Albert's got another one here. Can the order be rated instead of coming in as custom?
So currently we are rating them as custom. However, what we can do is we're setting up a macro and testing it that will allow us to use your rate tables instead.
And further down the line, there's going to be a couple of webinars that are coming out on the other product that we have called Dray Master. Dray Master is a specific rate management system that is now a part of the Envase Technologies group that will allow us the ability to take an order and deliver it to the TMS with all of the components. So we'll be able to deliver line haul, fuel surcharge, hazardous charge, reefer charge, overweight charge, front end, back end, chassis positioning, chassis rental. I feel like I'm missing a few other things. Terminal surcharges, and I think that covers it. But all the components, all the known upfront components of an intermodal shipment, we'll be able to deliver through specific to the customer, and that is another integration that's done direct with Profit Tools.
And Chelsea's asking here, so we just need to forward the order into an email and it starts reading the order and getting ready to send to the TMS?
That is correct. So behind the scenes, as Tom mentioned, we're using OCR and rules to learn your work orders and train your work orders so that they're ready to go into the TMS. In the very beginning, you are the final person that looks at it and sends it to the TMS, with the ultimate goal being that Order AI captures everything and you can set it to automatically send to Profit Tools and no one has to intervene with it.
And we're really excited to say that our first beta customer out of Chicago, Cushing Transport, is now on automatic. So anything that they send into the portal, now they're not looking at, it's automatically showing up ready to dispatch in their system. So they've been on the system since late November. So that's kind of, as we've been explaining, over time, we're learning about what you're doing and how you're doing it. And at a point where you get the confidence that you're not changing anything and you're just accepting orders in, we can make that automatic so that it doesn't have to be touched by a human.
Drew is asking, how does the system handle rates? Do rates of the work order, or does rates of the work order, or does it use a Profit Tools rate table?
If there are rates inside of the work or inside of the actual PDF, we can grab those rates, the line haul, and the fuel surcharge. Currently, we are not using auto rating inside of Profit Tools to rate the loads. However, we are looking at a macro that will allow those rate tables to be brought in if that's something you would want.
Kevin's asking, can I input yard moves in Order AI, or do I have to change it in Profit Tools?
You are able to adjust the events and add yard moves into Order AI before it goes into Profit Tools.
Nice. Someone's asking, if we have 3 different people entering orders, do we get 3 different inboxes, or is it a shared inbox in Envase? It's coming from John.
It would be a shared inbox, but each user would have their own login. So you'd be able to log in as yourself, and it's also going to show you what user uploaded the document and then what user updated the document.
And you're also able to filter just to see the documents that you've sent in yourself. But otherwise, you can see the general mailbox also.
Good question here from Ferris. Will this work with a customer portal if work orders are not received via emails?
So not received by emails. I guess that it would ask a further question. Then how would they be received then? A fax or?
I'm thinking this is like a question regarding a customer portal. So if a customer enters it into a portal and have it automatically flow into the TMS, at which point in time, though, I think Ferris, I don't know if the V would require it because it'd be the data would be entered by the portal. But Tom?
Yeah, so the portal and the email address to the portal, it can be used internally only, or it can be provided to customers that you're going to trust that are sending just work orders into the portal. What we have found with most customers that have an order inbox is that customers have become accustomed to using that for everything else, everything in addition to putting in work orders. So they've got customer service questions and so forth. So we do have the ability to do it either way, and we do have the ability to do a drag and drop from one window to another. You can drag and drop the PDF email into the ingestion area. However, in the middle of next quarter, we will have an Outlook plugin that will it'll be included right on the Outlook plugin.
And Paul is asking, can this AI handle a spreadsheet with multiple loads on it?
Oh yes, it can, and it does it beautifully.
Good question. Dash is asking, what if there are multiple containers on each DO? Will it auto-populate with multiple TMPs for this?
It will.
That is correct. Yep, it'll separate those out, one container, one shipment. So it follows the same rules as ProfitTools does.
Well, a follow-up question from Tasha. Does the 175 monthly cover the cost for each TMP as well, or is that separate?
No, that is separate.
Ferris came back with another question. Also, will it accept orders on the customer portal? This is going back to the customer portal question.
Yeah, so it's really not a customer portal. Perhaps it's more of an internal portal that we're using. The Envase Order AI really starts taking place after you've received an order from a customer.
Tasha's got another question. Does the current process auto-populate the rates for the customers if I already have their rates in the rate table?
So that will be that macro that we're working on setting up right now and testing. Once we have that macro in place, it will follow all the rules of auto rating. So if you have a specific customer set up with a specific default table, it will use that default table. And that is currently in testing, and I'm hoping to have it out of testing by end of next week.
Lots happening in the background here too. Kevin's coming in asking, is it okay for customers to email orders directly to Order AI? If there's a special instruction from customer's email, will I see it from Order AI?
So if a customer sends an order in directly, we are going to grab the PDF off of that order and use that to do the extraction of the data. Any of the information that's in the specific body of the email will not be accounted for.
Drew's asking about the rate table macros and just the ETA for those. So I think you just touched on it, but maybe to reiterate.
Yep, so my ETA for that is end of next week to be out of testing and available.
And Heather, that's just a matter of us including the rate table name, isn't that correct?
So it's an actual macro that I got from ProfitTools yesterday, and it looks at the way that the rate tables are set up inside of ProfitTools. So if they have a default table, it knows to use that default table and bring the rate in.
Oh,
So it's
perfect.
just verifying that that macro works with what we're doing.
Yeah.
All right. David is asking about other TMSs. So when will this be available to other TMSs, and will you ever consider WMS?
I don't know that I know what WMS is. Heather, do you know what WMS is?
I am not sure on that.
Okay.
David, we might require a little bit more information there.
Yeah, so today we are specifically built into Profit Tools, but shortly following we'll have CompCare right behind, and we also have an integration into CargoWise into their port transport module today that is up and functioning.
And further along that, I think there's Tailwind integration that's coming along the line as well.
Yeah, I apologize. Yes, and Tailwind is coming right after. As a matter of fact, CompCare, Tailwind, and GTG will be following.
All right, Richard is asking, can we bring over several different reference fields?
Absolutely. So we can also bring in the custom fields and any other reference fields that you want us to populate.
And we will learn how you populate those fields on each one of the orders. And I'm not sure whether we mentioned it or not, but when we're learning about your orders, we are going by the freight buyer or the person that's going to pay the freight bill by the origin and the destination that they're that the shipment's going to. So we can learn the difference between an import and an export, a shipment from a particular shipper or consignee, and always by the freight buyer.
Oh, this is another good question, I think, from Kenny here. Will Order AI catch duplicates?
Yes, it will. And it will provide you a TMS warning when it finds duplicates, or it will say replace. So if you're sending in an order and it's an update, it will update Order AI. And then it will also allow you to see that it is an update as opposed to a new processed order.
Albert's got another question. He's got quite a few today. That's good. If a delivery order is received for an export and the booking number calls for 5 pieces of equipment, will Order AI identify the need for those 5 different pieces of equipment and then create 5 different TMPs?
That is correct. And when it creates those 5 different TMPs and sends to Profit Tools, it will create unknown containers and chassis for those.
And Kevin's got, what format can Order AI accept? PDF, TIF, JPEG?
All of those, as well as XML and other formats besides those.
Albert had the same question. What file types can it read? So I think we got that there. Can it create an order based off the body of an email?
Today it does not. With our Outlook plugin that we've got coming out in next quarter, it will be able to look at and read not only the PDF but also the information that's contained in the email.
Well, Paris did come back with a bit more clarification regarding his customer portal questions here. He says, he said, work orders are in the customer portal. What if I print the order from their portal and scan and email it to Order AI?
Yes, then you could that would definitely work. Or even converting an email to a PDF that is provided in a consistent format. We can also handle those too.
And then just real quick before we go to the next question, WMS is Warehouse Management System.
Okay. Yeah. So today we've been focusing on order entry to a TMS. However, we will be expanding our offering in the future to be able to handle documents, other types of documents into other systems.
And Bruce is wondering about the extendability. Sound looks like here as well. Can this work with a truckload with multi-stops or a less than truckload shipment, or is this basically just for containers?
So we can work with truckload and less than truckload shipments, and we are able to add multi-stops to those.
What about scan copy of DO with low quality scan? That's coming from Elijah.
So we do our very best to read them. We have found that the original PDF is the best document to receive and the best for us to be able to train and capture. However, we will try our best to read any document that you do send.
And John is asking, is there a special format for spreadsheets to be for bulk entry, and would we provide if so?
No, we'll select. We'll accept any spreadsheet. We go through a mapping exercise for the first time that we see it, and once it's mapped, then it's recognized from that point forward.
And Janet is asking, how does this software run with EDI?
You want to take that,
ahead,
Tom? Okay.
Yeah.
So the way that it would work is that we would use the same FTP that you're utilizing inside of Profit Tools. Order AI would handle the 204, the 990, and the 997. Everything else, like the 214 and the 210, would come from Profit Tools. So we're still working with Profit Tools, and you'll still have those EDIs out, but the EDI in would be from Order AI. One of the benefits to it is EDI inside of Profit Tools has specific rules that it follows. So every shipment, it's going to capture the same thing, reference number. And for different customers, you may have different reference numbers that you want entered. So Order AI is able to memorize those and then upload those into Profit Tools as your EDI order. It will also come in as an open order as opposed to offered. So you no longer have to accept it because you're accepting it inside of Order AI.
Ferris is asking, will it link deliveries that are toured with reloads and add as child shipment?
So currently it does not do that. It would create original shipments. And then you could technically go in and add that child shipment, but that is definitely something that we could look at with Profit Tools to see if there's a macro that would allow us to do that.
Right. Peter is asking, it looks like it's more of a portal question. Says, does each vendor have its own ID and login to access the portal? I think that's more portal related, but I don't.
Yeah, we're hosted up on AWS, and we are a multi-tenant environment where we have one platform, multiple logins, and security within each of the within each of the companies that that is created, and then the users underneath that.
And Albert is asking about the macro. Will this new macro be generally available?
So it should be. I actually received it from Wes at the customer support team at Profit Tools, and I can find out specifically, Albert, if you'd like a list of all the macros.
So is this the lead into a full document / paperless solution?
Yes.
Getting there. Yeah. Thanks, Richard. Tasha wants a little bit of clarification. So once we have received specific AI order population and have made the needed adjustments we want it to capture, it will go to the place where we can say auto-populate into TMS without the need to go into Envase AI inbox and clicking buttons.
That is correct. So the ultimate goal is that we've learned and we've got everything on the document that you want. And once you say, yes, everything is good, turn it on. We'll turn it on to auto send into Profit Tools.
And Kevin is asking, oh, Tasha, yeah, she says great. Thank you. Kevin's asking, only one PDF at a time, or can it take multiple PDFs?
So it can take multiple PDFs. What we normally suggest is that you send a group of documents or PDF files in all at once, and we guarantee to have those groups back to you within 30 minutes.
And will events always have to be changed in Order AI, or can it still be changed in Profit Tools?
You still have the ability to adjust the shipment inside of Profit Tools if you want to change those events.
Ferris is asking, can you go over the costs again, please? So I'll just, I'll back up maybe. Tom, do you want to just chat through this one quickly?
Yeah, absolutely. So the monthly subscription is $175 a month, and that's in lieu of any kind of an onboarding fee for getting the Envase Order AI platform up. So on PDF orders, it's 80 cents for the first shipment that's created off of that order, and then 40 cents for each additional shipment that's created off of that particular delivery order. So a delivery order that has two containers on it that creates two different orders within the TMS would be $1.20. And at the bottom there, you can see that the account is reviewed on a monthly basis to determine if the total number of pages submitted exceeds 2 pages per order average. And if there is an overage on that, which we haven't found any customers have run into any overages yet, but it would be 20 cents per page if that was the case. On the tabular data, the pricing is very similar in that it's 80 cents for the first shipment that's created, and then 40 cents for each additional shipment that's created beyond that. Just a couple of quick numbers here, if I could, Brad. We did a study with 8 different customers, Profit Tools customers, and determined that on average it takes an order entry clerk about 8 minutes to be able to put an order in into the TMS, and that includes the time that it takes to receive it via email, read the email, print the email attachment, enter the order, scan the PDF again, and then populate it in the documents within the TMS. And we're going to take that time from 8 minutes down to 30 seconds or less to start, and then over time get that down to a period of time where it's automatic and it doesn't have to be touched at all. So there's a great ROI here. The idea with the creation of Order AI was really centered around having the ability to have an order entry person not have to do repetitive, monotonous work that they have a lot of domain knowledge in their head on, and that when they're gone on vacation, like you saw in our short little video, that everybody freaks out and things can happen. But in those cases, we're replacing all of that domain knowledge that order entry person has by learning from them when they're entering the orders and accepting the orders into the platform. So there's a great return on investment here when you consider the cost to use the platform as opposed to the 8 minutes that it takes to get an order into the TMS.
Yeah, and the questions are keeping coming, so that's great to see. We're running a little bit overtime over the 45 minutes, but I think we're good to keep on going through the questions.
Sure.
So is Order AI able to automatically add internal dispatch notes to a load if they're not on the work order?
Absolutely. So we give you the ability to put a note on the entire shipment, and we give you the ability to put a note on the shipper and the consignee, and each leg, correct, Heather?
Correct. Every event you have the option for a note field.
And Richard is asking, for a single PDF, what is the turnaround time in the system when it's live?
Yeah, that's a great question. So in the very beginning, we guarantee that it's going to be 30-minute turnaround from the time we receive it into the inbox and it is being processed until the time you can accept it and send it to the customer. Over time, and the more orders that come in for that particular customer and the repetitiveness takes place, that time gets reduced exponentially every time. It goes from 30 minutes down to 30 seconds or 10 seconds, depending on whether you have it on automatic or not.
And somebody's asking about the pricing for EDI. Will the pricing for EDI be the same or less? That's from Albert.
We haven't determined the EDI cost at this point, but I can tell you that it will be less than the PDF cost, just because we don't have to put it through an OCR engine.
Chelsea's asking, can you see the original order PDF in Profit Tools?
So you will see the PDF that was pushed into Order AI. It shows up automatically under the imaging.
And very shortly, we'll also be sending in a PDF copy of the actual email that had the document attached to it. So that will also be readily available for dispatch or anybody else to see the original email in the documents.
And Ferris has a final kind of question here. He says that they're using EDI with Profit Tools for a few of their customers. Will Order AI interfere with that?
So if you choose to do Order AI with for your EDI, what will happen is we would turn that customer off in your Profit Tools. So basically the 204, 990, and 997 would come from Order AI. It would automatically create the load. And then the 214 and 210 would come from Profit Tools. So it won't interfere. It will work hand in hand with it.
Well, looks like questions are starting to wrap up here. It's somebody that, going back to the demo, looks like notice that there's a request inbox. Can you let me know how that works? Should I give you the presentership there?
Let me. Yep, please. Alrighty, so that request inbox, that's going to be where all your requests are. You do have this option that says add, so you are able to upload documents instead of forwarding them. However, we really recommend that you forward them, and that way you're keeping track of those emails. So really, this is just our inbox. We call it the request inbox up top.
Heather, would you remove the filter on that, and if you can in here, and just show them completed orders, or show them the different filtering options after it's been saved?
Yep, so right here we do have the options to search by terms, which would be reference numbers. We can search by dates, by statuses. So this is any status that you would see. The system status is going to be more on the technical side, by company, and then we can show completed requests. So we do have the ability to filter. And you can filter by users. It's the same applies to the search option as well.
Looks like we got one more question that said, wondering how many customers are currently using Envase Order AI and what results are they seeing?
So currently we do have 12 customers that we are working with. One of them, our beta customer, as mentioned, is automatically sending documents over into Profit Tools, and that's working really well. We've had a lot of positive feedback. Not very many issues. Most of the time it's just training the documents and learning the processes that you all do inside of Profit Tools.
Just remember seeing some of the quotes that we got from the customers. They're saying it saves about 90% of the time associated with what they're spending before, or for one, David Duke, that was said it was 15 hours a day that's saving on order entry, which was equivalent of two people working. So that was pretty significant. Ferris is asking, we use templates for all crosstown moves. Will it work with that?
Yes. So we are able to use those templates. We'll upload every template that you use. And what happens is, as you're selecting the template, we're going to start memorizing what template you're selecting, and it will automatically know what template and then bring over into Profit Tools using that template format.
And when you use a template, the rate automatically comes over, and that's a static rate then that is built into the template then. So we will automatically bring that rate back in, and all the rate components that you have established in the template.
All right, we got, we'll see how many more come in. We got Albert is asking, during customer onboarding, we request a sample delivery order. Would we be able to train Order AI before accepting the customer's first delivery order?
So what we would do is we would ask that you send the work order in, and that's what starts that training process. And then from there, it will just continue to start to memorize that.
Yeah, sorry, Heather.
No, go ahead.
I was just going to say, one of the other things that we do in that first 2-week period is that what we ask you to do is to start sending in all of your work orders that you're going to be sending in. We're not going to be interacting with you during that period of time, but in the background, what we're going to be doing is looking at each one of those documents and learning about your specific customers and the lanes that they're doing business with you in. And we're going to pre-train those documents in the background to be able to identify where the information comes from. As everybody knows that sat at the order entry desk, that there's 1,000 different formats and forms that delivery orders come in, and the information is all over the place on those forms. But that's what we try to do ahead of time is cut that time down on that initial 30 minutes of seeing a new order to being down to 10 or 15 minutes, as we learn and get better at recognizing the document. So pre-training is what we do.
All right, looks like our questions are wrapping up, so we will as well. On behalf of our presenters, thank you very much for joining us today. Should you have any questions that we weren't able to cover, please do reach out to us. Or if you'd like more information on Order AI, can be reached by phone 702-780-0774 or email, probably easiest, info@envaseorderai.com. With that, we hope you have a great rest of your day. Thanks, everyone.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.